Good afternoon, students. Once again, welcome to online class, the continuation of yesterday's class, that is kinds of adjectives. We have already learned 5 kinds of adjective in our previous class. Today, continuation of those adjectives. Today, we are learning about the other 5 adjectives: interrogative adjective, possessive adjective, proper adjective, emphatic adjective, and the relative adjective. So we'll begin with today's class with interrogative adjectives. This is the 6th kind of adjective, that is interrogative adjective. Interrogative. Already we have heard this name so many times. Interrogative, interrogation, interrogative. That is just asking questions. Here, the words used with nouns in asking questions, those words are called as the adjectives. Words used with nouns in asking questions are called as the interrogative adjectives. So there are some adjectives which we use as an interrogative adjectives, such as whose, which, and what. We use whose, which, and what as interrogative adjectives here. This whose we use just to mention or to refer to persons. When we refer to the persons, we use which for persons as well as for things. When we talk or when we speak about person and things, whereas this what we use just for the things. Whose, which, and what are the interrogative adjectives. We use this whose to refer or to speak about persons, whereas which just to refer to the or speak about person, and thing what is used for the just for things. So we see some examples where with the whose, which, and what here. What is the first example is, what information have you got? So the examples will be what information have you about it? Have you about it? So you can see that it refers to things. This what is being used for things here. So second example is whose shoes is he wearing? We are talking about whose, so whose, he. We are just talking about the person here, so we are using the adjective, that is whose here. The next example is with which. Which book do you want? So you can see that always interrogative adjectives or interrogation is asking questions. So question mark is very necessary at the end of the sentence. What information have you obtained? What is an interrogative adjective using for things? Whose shoes is he wearing? We are talking about Persons here, we are referring to persons, we are use the adjective whose, then comes the which, we can use it for person as well as things. This is the third example what we have used the interrogative adjective, that is which here. One more thing we have to make it clear here is we have to remember that already we have learned about the interrogative pronouns also. In our earlier classes, when we are learning about the pronouns chapter, we have learned about interrogative pronouns also. Once again, we recall those interrogative pronouns and also the interrogative adjectives nouns. So some examples I am giving you here. Just once again see those things, keep it in mind and learn as many times as possible. What plan did you follow? So this is the first sentence. What plan did you follow? Then what is your plan? See here, what is adjective is an adjective. You can see plan is there, which is a noun. So noun is always placed after the adjective here, or adjective is being placed just before the noun here. So this sentence will become an interrogative adjective, whereas this sentence will become interrogative pronoun. What is an adjective? Plan is a noun. What is adjective? Plan is a noun. So here noun is placed just after the adjective, so that is called as an interrogative adjective. What is an adjective? Interrogative adjective. Plan is a noun here, so it is placed at the end of the sentence. There is no noun after that, so we call it as an interrogative pronoun. So next example is, which train is late? Which is the mail train? So once again read the sentence, find out the nouns and find out the interrogative adjective here. Which train is late? Which is the mail train? Here adjective is being placed just before the noun, whereas here adjective is placed at the beginning, but whereas the train is placed at the end of the sentence. This means that this is an interrogative adjective, whereas this is interrogative pronoun. Is it clear, students? I think all these days, since from last 10 days, we are learning about these pronouns as well as the adjectives. So it has become very easier for us to understand, that is what kind of a sentences we call as an interrogative adjective and what are the interrogative pronouns here. So this is the difference between adjective and the pronoun here. So it is very clear that which, whose and what are the interrogative adjectives. This is how we have seen some examples, and these are the two examples where we have seen that interrogative adjective and interrogative pronouns also. After this, we will learn about the possessive adjective now. The next seventh one is possessive adjective. So, possessive itself, possession, showing possession or showing the ownership. So, the words used to show the ownership or the possessions are called as the adjectives. Words helps to show an ownership are called as an possessive adjectives. Words help to show an ownership or possessions are called as an possessive adjectives. So, in the lesson of pronouns, we have already learned about the possessive pronouns also. So there also we have seen that always the pronouns are placed, adjectives are placed just before the nouns. Here also in this also, always the possessive adjectives are placed just before the noun here. So we'll see which are the possessive adjectives now. So very familiar words are there. My, your, his, hers, ours, yours, its. These are the possessive adjectives. One more is there, that is that's. These are the possessive adjectives here. Sorry, there it is, not theirs. This is common. Words helps to show an ownership or possessions are called as the possessive adjectives. My, your, his, hers, our, its, and there are the possessive adjectives. So we will see some examples using these possessive adjectives here. So first example is my car needs repair. Here you can see my, which is a possessive adjective here. The next example is this plant is losing its leaves. This plant is losing its leaves. You can see here the possessive noun, that is it's here. The next example, third example is this is your house. This is your house. I think you already know which is a adjective, possessive adjectives, that is your here. Then the next example is this is her book. Okay, so the same adjectives you find here in this sentence: my, its, your, and her. These are the possessive adjectives which show the ownership. That is, it says that my car. It is not anybody else, it is my car. It is showing the ownership or the possession. That word we call as a possessive adjective. This plant is losing its leaves. Its leaves, not anybody's, not any other plant's leaves, but itself is losing its leaves. So it is also showing the possession there. So we call this its as a possessive adjective. This is your house. Your house. Here also we are showing the ownership, that is possession. Your is a possessive. Then last is this is her book. Her book, not anybody's, her book. So this is her is also a possessive adjective. So these are all the examples for possessive adjectives. Now next comes here also you have to see that always my car, its leaves, your house, her book. You can see that this is a noun here and this is also noun. noun, then book is also a noun. Always remember that the adjectives are placed just before the nouns. Is it clear, students? I think you already understood. It has become familiar for us to learn these things. Always we have found the adjectives placed just before the nouns. So this is what the possessive adjectives is. Then after seventh one, the eighth one is a proper adjective. Now after possessive is proper adjective. That is eighth one. Proper adjective. What is this proper adjective? Already we heard this proper noun we have heard. Isn't that? Proper noun already you have learned in the nouns and kinds of lesson. But this is a proper adjective. So here proper nouns are used as adjective forms of proper nouns. Nothing else here. Proper nouns are used as adjective forms of proper nouns. Proper nouns are used as adjective forms. So we'll see some examples and it will be easy for you to understand. Proper noun. Okay. Proper adjective. Proper nouns are used as adjective forms of proper nouns. So already you know what are the proper nouns. So the names of a cities, buildings, animals, things, the names itself of your friends, teachers are called as the proper nouns. So here we are talking about the proper adjectives. They are also proper nouns and using as a forms of the adjective here. So some examples I'll be giving here. First one is he is an Indian. When we hear or when we read Indian, we know that this is a proper noun. The same example, he is an Indian player. Okay. Indian is an adjective, whereas player is a noun. Indian is a noun. Sorry, here it is being used as a proper noun, whereas here it is being used as an adjective, and this player is a noun here. That is what we are saying, that this is a proper adjective. Proper adjective. But whereas this Indian was a proper noun. You can see that always noun should be placed, noun will be placed just after the adjective. So this Indian will become a proper adjective now. So after this, one more example I will be giving you. I went to visit France. I went to visit France. France is a proper noun here. But we have to change this France as an adjective noun. So we will change this. I enjoyed the French food. I enjoyed the French food. Food is a noun here. The word which is placed just before this food noun is an adjective here. So this French has become now as an adjective. That is what a proper adjective is. The proper nouns is being used as a form of an adjective. So this French has become now as an adjective. That is French food. Food is a noun here. So this is an proper adjective. So whereas this is a proper noun. So one more example I will be giving you here. That is, I love Chinese food. So here also Chinese food. Chinese is an proper adjective. Proper adjective, whereas this is a noun here. So next example is Alex is an Australian. He is an Australian. Australian, when we stop the sentence out at Australian, then it becomes a proper noun where we are adding one more noun to this. Australian boxer. So Australian will become a proper adjective here. This is the difference between the proper noun and the proper adjective. So these are the examples where I have shown you the proper adjectives here. Got it, students? I think you understood what are the proper adjectives here. After this, we will be learning about the emphatic adjectives. Ninth one is emphatic adjective. Emphatic adjective. The word is just saying that we are emphasizing our opinion about something there. The words which used to emphasize our opinion about something, then those words are called as an emphatic adjectives. Words used to emphasize our opinion about something. It may be about a person, thing, or anything. We are telling, expressing, we are giving stress. We are talking more about that person, thing, than we are saying that it emphasis is given, and we are giving our opinion about that particular thing. Then it is called as an emphatic adjective here. Already you have learned emphatic pronouns also in your earlier class. So just we'll see what are the emphatic adjectives now. Very few words are emphatic adjectives. They are like real, very, complete, true, whole, perfect, total, absolute. Emphatic adjective, the words which are used to emphasize more about emphasize our opinion about something. We are talking here about, we are giving more stress about person, things, than such words are called as an emphatic adjectives. Very few words are there. Real, very, complete, true, whole, perfect, total, and absolute are the emphatic adjectives here. They are being used to give emphasis and asking our opinion there. So we'll see some sentences where we can see that emphatic adjectives. So first is the real owner of this firm is somebody else. The next example is I have a very bad cold. Now the third example is We were in complete darkness. So here three sentences I given here. You can see that the real owner of this firm is somebody else. We are talking about some person here. We doesn't know him. We are talking about the person, and we are also talking about the firm here. But we know that he is not the exact owner whom we have seen or met, but the real owner is somebody else. We are talking, we are emphasizing, we are giving more stress on the real owner. So this is our opinion. What we are saying is, so here it is not only the owner, but we are writing one adjective before the noun here, that is real, which is a emphatic adjective. Is it clear, students? So next example is, I have a very bad cold. I have a bad cold. But what kind of a cold? We are giving more stress on that cold. That is, it is very cold. So very is also an emphatic adjective. We were in a complete darkness. We were in a darkness. But what kind of a darkness? A noun is there, but complete is an emphatic adjectives here. You can see that always I have said that the words adjectives are being placed just before the nouns here. Real, very, and the complete are the emphatic adjectives. So this is what we are talking or we are learning about the emphatic adjective. This was the ninth one, that is emphatic adjective. After this, we will be learning about the last adjective, that is relative. So last is the relative adjective. What is this relative adjectives? Is words used with nouns to relate the clauses. The relative adjective itself, relate, relative, is saying that words used with nouns to relate, words used with nouns to relate clause, to relate the clause here. Word itself is saying that relative. We are showing some relation or relative there. So those words which show the relation with the nouns, with the clauses, then we call those adjectives as a relative adjectives. So very few words are also there which are the relative adjectives, such as what, which, and whose. What, which, and whose are the relative adjectives. So we'll see some examples where we can find these adjectives here. That will be very easy for you to understand what are the relative adjectives. But before that, here you can see related clauses. I think you already know what is a clause here. Clause is nothing but a group of words which is a part of a sentence and which has a subject as well as a definite verb. You know, clause is a group of words and it is a part of a sentence, and also it has a subject as well as a verb, definite verb. So here clause is a group of words, a part of a sentence, having a subject and a finite verb of its own. This is what is clause we are talking. Already I learned in a very lower classes. It's a group of a word. It is a part of a sentence and also which has a finite verb and a subject there. So which, what, and whose are the relative adjectives. So which shows the relation with the clause as well as the nouns there. We will see some examples here. The first example is, he is a man. Sorry, tell me which books on my shelf you would like to borrow. So this is the first sentence. Tell me which books on my shelf you would like to borrow. Here you can see which, whereas we are finding which here, which books here, and this is a relative adjectives where it is showing the relation that the books here, the books, and you can find a would like to borrow. A finite verb is also there. So which is a relative adjectives here, which is showing a relation with the nouns as well as the clause here. The next sentence is, I know the boy whose father is a policeman. Whose father is a policeman. Here, whose, can see that whose is also a relative adjective. So the clause is itself is saying that it's a group of words, the part of a sentence and subject and a finite verb is having there. So we'll see here the boy is a half of the sentence. We find the father there, noun which is, and also the whose father is a policeman. It is showing the relation with the, it is showing a relation there with the noun, with the noun. So here using the word whose here, so this sentence, I know the boy whose father is a policeman, whose is a relative adjective here. Is it clear, students? For example, this wisely. They spent wisely what money they had. They had. So here, this what is a relative adjective here. So here they are showing us the relation between the nouns and the clauses here. So which, what, and whose are the relative adjectives here. And clause, I think here I have written the definition of this clause here. These are the examples for the relative adjectives. So today we have learned about the interrogative adjective, possessive adjective, proper adjective, emphatic adjective, and the last one is the relative adjective. This is what the adjectives and the clients of the adjectives are. All the 10 adjectives we have learned. So just read and make a notes for these things. We will also supplying the notes through the group. So make it as a notes, learn examples. Already you have some grammar books with you. So note down some sentences, try to work hard and get as many as examples as you can find it. And the coming class, we will be starting our prose also, prose and poetry reader. So this is today's class, that is adjectives and the kinds of adjectives. Okay, students, thank you very much.